when Claire's purchased Indian Motorcycle in April of 2011, it was really under this one simple idea. It's time to take America's first motorcycle company and do something great with it again. And well, we felt that we had the tools to do that. It starts with an awesome motorcycle, which today you'll have to be the judge for yourself, but we think we nailed it. The next is building a robust dealer network that knows how to take care of our new customers. That's going to take a little longer, but we're going to be really patient, and we're going to put the right partners in place to make sure our customers get an awesome customer experience at any dealership across North America and across the world, frankly. We're on par to have between 125 and 140 dealers in North America by the end of the year, and another 50 to 60 overseas and in other countries by the end of the year as well. So let's talk about the Thunderstroke 111. 111 cubic inches, a little over 1,800 cc's. 119 foot-pounds of torque. Industry leading. But here's kind of where the rubber meets the road. In general, it's easy for anybody to claim torque or horsepower or to put a graph in their book or whatever, or say this or say that. The rubber meets the road by what you feel in the seat of your pants. So think of it this way. It's pretty easy for anybody today, for any manufacturer, to produce flat-out raw horsepower or torque. It's less easy to do it in a reliable package, and it's even more difficult to do it in such a way that it feels what you want to feel through the seat of the pants. Right? So what I'm getting at here is, in addition to providing our customers industry-leading performance, we have a whole team of engineers that work on nothing but how the bike feels through the seat of the pants. Right? So when you ride the bike today, pay attention to what you feel here and what you feel through your feet and through your hands, because it's all very purposeful. We want you to feel the motorcycle. We want you to feel that big V-twin, but we don't want you to feel any annoying or harsh vibrations. We certainly don't want it to feel like a sewing machine, right? We know what we're talking about there. But we want you to feel this big bike because it's a really cool feel. So just pay attention to that. Know that it's very purposeful. What's unique about this engine, and this will be very different from those that are riding Harley-Davidson today. It's a unitized package, meaning that the clutch and the transmission are actually part of the engine. They're inside the engine. It's not a bolt-on attachment to the engine. The big advantage is maintenance. In particular, oil changes. In a nutshell, you can figure out lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. You can change your own oil in about 15 minutes. There's one place the oil goes, right there. 5 quarts in, 5 quarts out the bottom. Let's do it the other way around. 5 quarts out. Oil filters up front on the bottom, spin off, spin on. You basically service the entire motorcycle for 5,000 miles. Okay? It's a proprietary oil. It's a 2040 semi-synthetic blend. And I say proprietary because it serves so many masters, as I mentioned. It's one oil for the entire engine. The primary, the crankcase, the clutch, and the transmission. Right? So it's not something you're going to want to throw an aftermarket oil at or a pure synthetic. It's not made for that. Okay? Just know that what we got works, and it works really well, and stick to the plan, and you're good to go. Okay?
Just to clarify, it's not a $300 every 5,000 miles.
I don't know the exact cost of the oil, but give or take, it's $9 or $10 a quart. So 5 quarts,
That's $70.
You spend 10 to 15 bucks on a filter, so 75 bucks every 5,000 miles, not a bad investment, right? Right. And the cool part is you can do it yourself. You can figure out lefty loosey or anything. All right. Electronic throttle control, meaning there's no throttle cables. Okay. A couple things we can do with that. We can very succinctly and electronically manage the fuel map and the fuel control and the power delivery. With that, we can also do a true electronic cruise control. So there's a round button by the starter here. Push it to turn the cruise control on, and then this black rocker switch here allows you to set the speed. You want to go 1 mile an hour faster, click it 1 time. You want to go 1 mile an hour slower, click it down 1 time. To disengage, grab a little brake. Well, what's kind of cool about this, because it is an electronic system, when the bike is on cruise control, the throttle is in this exact position, in the resting position. And if you notice, there's just a little back plate to the throttle here. So let's say we come across a slow vehicle and we want to go off a cruise. A little blip like this and right back on and you're off it. So you can literally disengage cruise and go back on throttle, manual control, without disrupting the flow or how the bike is rolling or the engine. It's really kind of a neat deal. All the bikes, key fob ignition, okay? It's a proximity key fob, so if I were to walk away with this in my pocket, this bike could not be started, okay? This Chieftain here, a couple of nice little features, a couple buttons on here, so you can lock the saddlebags if you want. Okay? Here's how you start the motorcycle. I don't believe we can do it any more simple than this. Take any finger of choice on your right hand and push the starter one time. And you'll see the gauges wake up and come to life. Take any finger of choice on your right hand again and touch the starter. Start the bike. That's it. Okay? If you do those two things and it doesn't start, one or two things is happening. Usually, the main master red kill switch is in the off position. Just flip it down to run, hit the button, and off you go. If at that point it still doesn't start, it's telling you the bike's in gear. Okay? If that's the case, handful of clutch, kickstand up, and you can start the bike. Or just put it in neutral and hit the button and off you go. Alright? All bikes have a button over here on the left-hand side. On the back side, you get with your trigger finger. That'll allow you to scroll through a trip information center on all the bikes. This bike in particular has a little more features, but trip 1, trip 2, trip timer, instant miles per gallon, average miles per gallon, distance to empty, etc., etc. This bike will even tell you tire pressure front and rear and engine oil life. Okay? A couple other features on the Chieftain since we're talking about this one. It is the first fork-mounted fairing with a push button up and down windshield. Okay? So that's a really useful feature whether, you know, you're passing a gravel truck on the T-lane. Whoa! Wow.
Feeling your music, Jim.
Alright. The other thing this bike has is what I like to say. It's got Bluetooth capability, standard, as well as a USB port. So if you're on a long road and you want to plug your phone or your iPad in, you can plug it right in the dash. Okay? And it's got a little pouch under there. So let's say we want to go to the Boot Hill Saloon later, and you don't know how to get there. So on my phone, I'll figure the Boot Hill Saloon.
Head south on Midway Avenue, then turn left onto Richard Petty Boulevard.
Well, it'll help you get there. Alright, so that's enough of the toys here. Okay, I didn't touch much on the cast aluminum frame. Huge advantage to cast aluminum frame. First and foremost, it's lightweight, which I think the benefits there are pretty obvious. Lighter's better, right? But the bigger advantage is the stability it creates in the motorcycle. It's ultra rigid, and what that means, even before you get 200 yards down this road here, going 5, 10, 15 miles an hour, I like to say the bike has awesome parking lot manners. Meaning that there's no wiggle or wobble to the bike. Okay, you just feet go up on the boards and you just roll away, and the bike is just solid and just confident feeling. Okay. But on the other end of the spectrum, when we start hustling some really fun curves and twists, that rigid frame delivers an awesome confidence to the rider, because if you've been on some other bikes or brands, you know, hustling through a corner and maybe get a little bit of handlebar wobble or wiggle and you're going, oh, that doesn't feel so good. There's none of that here. And it's because the frame is ultra rigid. And every ounce of feedback from the road is coming through and only through the suspension. It's not getting absorbed by any chassis or frame flex. It's a big deal, and it's something that it'll really inspire confidence in your ride. Okay? There's 3 models. The base model is over here, the Chief Classic. No windshield, no bags. Just your basic Chief Classic. $18,999. In between that bike and this bike is the Chief Vintage, which is $20,999. That includes your Lexan windshield and tan leather bags and tan leather seat. Okay? And then we have the Chieftain here, which we talked about, $22,999. Okay? All 3 bikes, all 3 models come standard with ABS. They come standard with cruise control, and they come standard with a 5-year unlimited mileage warranty, bumper to bumper. 5 years, unlimited mileage, bumper to bumper. The only caveat is starting in year 2, there's a $50 deductible per occurrence. but it's a true 5-year warranty, unlimited mileage, bumper to bumper. Ride the hell out of it, and it will keep you on the road.
How many miles do I expect to get out of here?
Many as you want to ride it. Next door with our sister company, I met a guy with 165,000 miles on his bike that he's basically changed oil for 165,000 miles. But there's no maintenance per se on the engine because it's all hydraulic and 5,000 mile oil change intervals, you'll be good to go. Yep. Gear driven, everything's gear driven, so it's very, very robust. So one other thing that's pretty important that I don't talk about often enough is the fact that the Indian motorcycle has right side belt drive. Okay, so the belt's on this side. We're on the Harley Davidson and on some of the other bikes it's left side. Okay, couple very distinct advantages. The number one advantage right off the bat is it balances the motorcycle. Okay, if you think about it, the industry leader has a very heavy primary going back to a final drive. The left side of the bike is physically heavier than the right side of the motorcycle. So that makes the bike kind of want to fall to the left side all the time. What that really means, without even almost knowing it, is the rider always has just a little bit of home pressure on the throttle, pushing forward. And that's to keep the bike going straight. If we relax that pressure a little bit, the bike's going to want to go left a little bit. So over the course of a long day, there's some fatigue that could potentially result from that. With this motorcycle, it's basically resting your hands on the bars and not forcing it to do anything because it just wants to go straight. Okay? The other thing is from a maintenance point of view. To access a belt on the right side of the bike is significantly easier because it is separate and has nothing to do with the primary. Okay? So it's this chrome cover here, comes off and out of the way, and that belt is changed lickety-split. We're over here, if it was on this side, it's multiple hours and multiple hundreds of dollars later. It's not really a wear item, 30,000+ miles before you need to think about it, but it's an interesting play on it because it really does make the motorcycle run straight and true.
You know what I mean?
I like to say it has a neutral
like that brown
bias.
one?
It doesn't have any tendency to go left or right.
Oh.
It just goes straight. Any questions before I send you under the tent? It looks like they've got to be coming back any minute.
Well, it's an air ride.
Good question. Rear suspension. On the Chieftain, it is a air adjustable rear suspension. Matter of fact, it comes with, I'll show you here. Pardon my fumbling. It comes with a gauge. This is actually a pump. Okay? It goes on a Schrader valve. If you're riding one up at 180 pounds, set the bike for 180 pounds. Put mama on the back, you're at 280 pounds total, set it for 280 pounds. Okay? And I'll tell you what, you can hit an overpass by yourself, set for 180, and you kind of feel how the bike goes like this. You know how the bike feels typically when you put a passenger on, and you hit that same railroad crossing at the same speed, you get a lot of extra squat at the bottom of the bike. When you reset it to the proper weight on the bike feels identical going over that same bump. It really, really works. The Classic and the Vintage do not have the adjustable air ride, but they do have a coilover monoshock suspension.